Hi everybody, it's Barry from DIY Audio Stuff, where techies and non-techies alike can learn about stereo and audio stuff in a non-pretentious atmosphere. Today I'm going to review a little Bluetooth amp that I bought off of Amazon for 12 bucks. It's feature rich and it comes with a lot of stuff. So let's get started. So the product we're looking at is called the DAMGOO Audio Amplifier Board with Bluetooth 5.0 with protective shell. I like the name of it, DAMGOO. It's like they forgot a D. And I think it's a pretty DAMGOO amp. Well, I was going to do my best to try to hold the camera in a tripod. That didn't work out. But so let's get to the unboxing. I've already unboxed it, and I kind of know what is in there. But let's see what we got anyways. So the first thing we got here is we got a little a Bluetooth amplifier here. That's the board. That's the thing we bought. And comes with some instructions. We'll look at that. What else do we got here? This is kind of nice. It comes with a power jack, right? A female power jack and a male plug. And these two, obviously we know how that works, but this is kind of nice, It comes with this little extra. I really like the metal one here because you just drill a hole, put it through a case, and then attach it with this nut here. It's a pretty solid one, so that's a nice plus. And it also comes with a little kit that looks like you can put the board inside to keep it protected. You can also do some modifications where you could put the board in here and then maybe screw one of these down inside it, inside a chassis if you're like making a powered speaker or something like that. So let's take a look at the documentation that came. Essentially, there's a welcome letter telling you thank you for purchasing the product, and if you have any issues, they'll try to correct it, and you can contact Andre at damgoo.com, and they will give you 100% satisfactory results. Turn this thing over here. So what do we got here? Its description: it's a high-power Bluetooth amp, dual audio channel signal. Built-in amplifier module, therefore, can be used to connect to loudspeaker directly. Ideal for DIY wireless Bluetooth speakers and transponders. Not sure what the transponder is. Features: knob adjustment, reverse connection protection. That's kind of cool, right? Like if you hook this guy up the wrong way, you got plus to minus and minus to plus, or another thing, sometimes maybe you have a wall wart, like a 5, 10, 12 volt wall wart. Most of them have a positive center and the outside is negative. But in some audio applications, they actually reverse that. And if you didn't know that and test it and you assume that they're all alike, you plug it in, you've got reverse polarity. And if you don't have reverse polarity protection, then you're going to let the magic smoke out of this guy. So that's a nice feature to have. It has a working voltage of 8 to 24 volts, and 30 feet is 15 meters. That's a communication distance. And then they have power ratings. So if you feed it 12 volts, you give it a 4 ohm speaker, it's 16 watts times 2. The wattage goes down if you give it an 8 ohm speaker. That's Ohm's law. And at the different power levels, 15 watts if you give it 16 volts. If you get to 30 watts and you're at 24 volts, but then you need an extra heatsink. Extra heatsink, you can buy those. You can use them from a Raspberry Pi and stick it on with some heatsink tape. Maybe I'll go over that one time. And then there's instructions that show how to pair it up. And applications are a modified speaker, amplifier equipment, car Bluetooth device. Really not sure what that means. And there's some notes here that you should read. If you're connecting it to a 4 ohm speaker, don't give it more than 12 volts. The reason why is because a 4 ohm speaker will draw more current and you'll fry this thing. So keep these warnings at hand. Oh yeah, so before we hook it up, oh yeah, so I wanted to cover this too. There's a speaker connection here. It tells you how to connect the speakers. 4 to 16 ohm speaker. And then here's where you'll give your power supply. And this is kind of cool. If you push it in, this little thing here, push it in, it's pause and play, and then left and right will do the volume adjustment. And then you can also control the volume adjustment from like your phone because it's Bluetooth. But you can probably set this guy up high first and then use your thing. So let's go to get hooking this thing up. Okay, I already missed the first part of that here. I was thought the camera was on and it wasn't. And I was showing how to connect this power guy up here, right? Essentially, it's pretty straightforward. If you look on the back, it tells you that the positive is on the outside, there's a little plus, and then the negative is minus, right? And that's where the black goes. So it's clearly labeled on the back. And these are kind of nice, right? They're little screw down things. The way they work is you unscrew it, so it kind of unclamps. And then you stick your wire in there to the best of your ability. And then you screw it down. And then your power is hooked up like that. And then also what they did is on the back is they labeled the speaker terminals. So you got plus, minus, minus, and plus. So they're clearly labeled. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some test speakers I have laying around. I use this for just testing stuff. I got 2 of them. We're gonna plug these guys in. And yeah. So I probably should trim those, otherwise they're gonna short out. Yeah. So one of the things we're gonna do is we're gonna trim the leads up first. So I'm gonna get my soldering iron. That guy's gonna heat up. This is an Xtronics. I paid like 35 bucks for it. It's a great little soldering iron. Heats up fast and does a good job. I like to tin the wire ends. It makes it neat. You know, that's all you need for speaker cables is some zip cord and some tinned ends. There's a lot of guys who will try to sell you these really fancy speaker cables, and you know, they'll give some bullshit claims of, you know, how these rhinestones that they put on them are supposed to give you audiophile capability. Yeah, let's see if did that do anything. I don't know. We'll find out. Cover this in. Does it go in? Oh shit! Sometimes these little things, you kind of need to guide them along. You loosen them up, and sometimes you need to kind of mess with them to get in there. That worked. I hope you guys can see what I'm doing here. I'm trying to be cognizant of what the hell? Oh, wrong one. All right. I need a power supply. I need a 12-volt power supply. I have plenty of them. Let me grab one. So here's my power supply I'm going to use. Just a little test power supply, and I had made this cable a few days ago, so I could just clip it in here. Should work. So let's hook this guy up. Got him hooked up here. Plug him in, and let's see. Can you see that? Is it in there? Is it in the screen? Yeah. Okay, let's turn this baby on. And look at that. Woo! It's loud when it first comes on. Wasn't expecting that. Let's pair it up. So the instruction said that when that thing was blinking, it would be pairing. So always wants me to log into iTunes, and I never want to because I don't care for iTunes, man. So let's go to Bluetooth. Yeah, great. Of course, when you're doing a demo, it wants to do an update. That's always the case. And it always happens during demo time. So it's looking for devices. It's trying to find other devices. Uh-oh. I don't see it. Bluing or pairing. Use step. So let's read it. Turn Bluetooth on phone. LED will flash. It means it's entered pairing mode. Let's try again. Maybe just hold it or something. I don't know. Holy man, this thing's loud. That shit. Not cool. 8 to 14. Let's give it 9 volts and cover our ears. Coming up really loud like that is totally unacceptable. Okay, so we get the PX here. Okay, finally, here it is. You know, I don't know if it's something I did in the past with it. Play some music from Burning Man. This is why I have test speakers. I paid like 50 cents at a surplus store. If I blow these up, I don't give a shit. So, okay, I'm going to turn this down all the way. Well, not all the way. So the iPhone's up all the way. Oh, that was weird. If you push it, it pauses it. Push it again, it unpauses it. And then V minus is supposed to turn it down. All right. That's a little, you can't hear it that loud. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stop it. I'm going to turn this off. I'm going to disconnect it because at one point in time I thought that this thing might have had a memory. And I played with it once and it seemed to be okay, but we're having a little issues with it now. So let's plug it back in, turn it on and see what happens. That's a little more acceptable. But did you notice this time it wasn't as loud as it was when I first did it? So I really think there's some kind of non-volatile memory in one of these devices here that remembers how long you, or what level you change this to. So it always comes up in the same level, even if it loses power completely. Now that's cool. And that makes sense because if you want to stick this guy inside of a chassis and you don't want to have, I mean, really, if I, put this in a little speaker box, right? Let's say I'm going to build a speaker system like this dude. Right here, right? This guy, I could throw him inside, but how am I going to get the this little tiny volume control to work? It's not going to work too well. So if I set it at a level and then stick it in the box, then I can always set the maximum level so that when I come back and plug it in and play it should be fine. So that's cool. So this thing can get pretty freaking loud. All right, well, what else can we do with this thing? We got some speakers. Here's how it's playing. Guy yelling. All right, let's put this guy in his little case and see how that thing goes. So this is kind of the fun part. Sometimes it's fun just being mechanical and putting stuff together. So it comes with a bunch of tiny screws and some standoffs, and a cover and a base. So, take the paper off here. Maybe not. If you take the paper off, it'll look cool. La la la. You know what? Screw it. Doesn't need to look that cool. So how do we do this? Okay. So the way this works is you put a screw through the base here, and it goes through the circuit board. And then you take one of these little tiny guys. Wow. It's gonna take a little, gonna need some small tools. I'm getting into my drawer here. Well, I thought I was. Anyways. What I need is a small tool set. I have. Alright. I was looking for my pliers and stuff, but didn't have those. Are we still on camera here? Alright. Okie dokie, let's try this one more time. So yeah, this is, you know what? Work smart, not hard. How are we gonna work smart? Tape! Tape is always good. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm just gonna tape these things in the bottom. Watch this. Just gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm gonna put this tape all over the whole thing. Tape all this shit down. All right, boom. They're taped. Look at this. This is gonna work out good. Boom. All right, look at that. Now, put these little things on like that. Your child coming this way. This is probably the last one that's kind of a pain in the ass, is this guy, because I got to get him right in where that capacitor is. You know what? So let's try this. Get him in there. Take our screw. So that was kind of a pain in the ass, but guess what? Boom. Got it. Put this little piece of plastic over it, so it stays protected. One. Yikes. Done. Now he's in the case. Plug him in. Turn it on. He paired. And we're rolling again. Start the party. So there you have it. All right, now we can do whatever we want. So that's that. The only downside that I didn't like is this thing comes up in full volume. We can kind of adjust that a little bit, but even when you turn them on, he does the pairing mode in full volume, which kind of sucks, because even if you're, let's see, even if your volume is all the way down on your iPhone, let's see how quiet it is? If I stop and I turn it on, I'm like, oh, let's turn the iPhone down so we can turn the amp on, we don't wake anybody up. Then you turn this guy on and he's all. And it's kind of loud. It's very loud, and then as loud as that. So yeah, there's a downside to the amp. I don't like that part, but like I said, this thing was like $12. Then it's a good deal. And if you don't like the limitations, then you can always buy a little Bluetooth amp that has a, you know, a regular twisty volume control. All right. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. Stay tuned for more videos in the future. subscribe to DIY Audio Stuff.